Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chromosomatics Wellness Podcast. This week we have special guest Amber Poole, energy healer and medium, and good friend of mine. Hi, Amber.
Hi, thanks for
Good,
having me on the
good to
show.
have you on. Been dying to get you on here. She is a critical part of my life. I just did an interview, a local interview on an online magazine, and I was talking about Amber. I had to talk about her because before her, I was basically a theory. I was into the books and studying everything, and she kind of opened the doorway for me to lead into the practice side of everything that I was studying because she was already practicing. And we'll get a little more into how we met a little later. But right now, I like to have Amber kind of tell her story and how she got started in her healing journey and helping so many people.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me here. Yes, you and I go way back, which is really awesome. How do we get here? So, I was stay-at-home mom. That's what I do. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have three kids, and I happened to get here from a health scare. I was walking from room to room, didn't have any health issues, and I completely just blacked out. And I went into what I call the void, which is kind of like a different dimension on the other side. You're not really dead, but you're not here in the living, you're in the void. And I didn't know what that was at the time. So I said in my head, "Am I dead?" And I heard a voice reply, "No." And I said, "Am I going to be okay?" And I heard a voice reply, "Yes." And I said, "Then get me the hell on up." I was like, what is this? Um, I could hear my family. I had my husband above me, my daughter was above me screaming for me, and I couldn't talk. I couldn't lift my head up. I couldn't like communicate. I couldn't move. They called the paramedics. Paramedics had to put me into a chair, take me to the ER. It was almost like I had a stroke, but nobody diagnosed me with a stroke.
Mm.
When I'm here, I hear all of these different voices start talking to me of how to heal myself. Then I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Like I felt really super crazy. The ER sends me home, gave me anxiety pills, basically said that you have to make a neurologist appointment. There's nothing we can do. Sit in bed until you can make it. So I started to sit in bed and I would have out of body experiences. And I thought if I didn't die before, I'm dead now.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what is going on? Literally, it feels like somebody's pulling you out of your body and you're floating above your body. And I could see my husband, I could see my kids, and I'm flying out of our house. And I thought, if I don't get back to my body, it's not going to be mine.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, in this time of getting back to, I went to the neurologist. Neurologist cleared me. I had an MRI. They said, "You're fine. We don't know what happened. You'll be okay." Eventually, I returned back to normal health. But in the meantime, I kept hearing this voice, and I said, "What is this voice? What are you telling me to do?" And they told me to energy heal myself. So this is 2012, right? We didn't have the internet was not happening, okay? I'm Googling magical hands because I can't figure out why my hands are heating up. I
Hmm.
keep scanning my body and I feel things and I know things. And I thought it was a very strange experience. So I took this ability, this gift, whatever was happening, and I went to my mom and I said, "Mom, lay down." I don't know what's going on. Lay down. So she lay down. I scanned my hands above her, and I knew things about her that she never told me.
Mm.
And I thought, well, this is kind of strange. So I called up my stepmom. Lay down. The communications, what I call from spirits, what I found out from your loved ones, from your team, from your guides, are coming in, and they were so strong for me that for $45, I would travel to anybody's home that would have me. I said, "I don't know what I'm doing. I hear that I make people feel better." And my job started from going house to house to house, scanning, listening to spirit, and delivering the most beautiful messages.
Mm. When I came across you, I noticed you were heavy into the crystal work. And
Yes.
in fact, that's why I contact you. It was involving crystals. What got you into the crystals and
Yes.
adding that to the mix?
I did. I was probably a few sessions in, And I went to a metaphysical store because I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, I know that I hear stuff, but I don't know what to do with it.
Mm.
So I walk into this metaphysical store and they have all of these crystals, and it was almost like candy. You walk in and you're like, woo, what's all of this? And I picked up a citrine and it was a cluster, and my hand started to vibrate,
Mm.
tingle everywhere. And I lifted it up to the cashier and I was like, what is this? And she's like, citrine. I said, no, 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 my hand, it's vibrating. What is going on here? And she said, oh, it likes you. Okay. So I bought all the crystals that day. I put them into the little plastic cases that you get at Michael's, and I started to take them into my sessions. And they were kind of like, and they still are, I still do this work. They're the glitter, the magic that helps me understand intuitive impressions of what is going on with a person, why they chose a certain crystal,
Mm.
because you are tuning into the vibration that you need.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
sessions just became 10 times more powerful.
Yes, yes. So let's talk about the mediumship that comes along with this with you. I remember my first session with you, and you were like, "Do you want your team to be involved?" And this was a Reiki session, what I thought was a Reiki session. And you said, "Do you want your team to come in there here?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? What team?" And it was my relatives, my ancestors. And I think I remember you saying at some point, certain people show up in certain chakras. Can
Um,
you tell us a bit about that?
yes. So there's certain, I wasn't trained in Reiki, right? So a lot of people are like fluent into Reiki. I literally just have a client and I start scanning and picking up information. And as I start learning about people and their energy, I noticed that their loved ones on the other side was coming through. So
Mm,
mediumship. And
mhm,
I was like, well, why are they coming through? Is it for support or because they need healing? So then my rule was if you need to hear from a loved one or somebody on the other side because your heart needs to heal and it will help you because I'm a healer, that's what I do, I allowed it all to come through.
mhm,
So depending upon what your, you know how like sometimes we have deep wounds,
mhm,
right? And sometimes your mother might step forward and say, hey, I'm really sorry for this, or your father, or your grandparents, or it started with me. And it's this beautiful chance to hear from them and to actually heal your soul.
mhm. Yeah, and that's what I love about what you do because things like that can actually be the root cause of something they may be experiencing physically, which is more like a symptom. But
Yes.
you can tap directly into the root cause, which could be emotional or, someone on the other side validating that right there in the session.
Yeah.
That's something that's really unique about what you do. But you go by medical, I mean, intuitive as well.
Mhm.
So what else do you see with that? Because I've kind of seen you evolved into these different titles over the years, right? So the medical intuitive part, when did you discover that you could do that as well?
I started to go inside people's bodies.
Hmm.
So instead of, we have chakras, which are the energy centers that you always talk about,
Hmm.
but then my vision would go into the arteries, vision would go into the heart. And it's not, so I do group readings in mediumship.
Hmm.
And I will go to somebody's house. I'm always going to people's houses. It's just, I'm the traveling energy healer and medium, okay? And I went to this person's house, and instead of, I try to do one or the other. So I'm trying to read their loved ones. And I kept looking at this man, and I said, you have to get your heart checked.
Hmm.
And he said, is it because I'm overweight? And I was really taken back by that comment because Spirit kept showing me that there was going to be something wrong if he didn't get it checked.
Hmm.
So I said, please, I'm not trying to like call you out in front of your group or anything else, but I keep hearing you have to get it checked. And his grandfather stepped forward and told me that he died of a heart attack. So he was the one giving him the information.
Hmm.
So I started to get really interested in the body, how I can help people on a deep level. I also realized that their wounds, soul wounds, are usually contributing to disease, and emotions contribute to disease.
Hmm.
So I love to do timeline healing, which
Hmm.
is your childhood, your womb,
Yeah.
your past. I love all of it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So what about your work? I know you work with like the Maryland Paranormal Society.
Yeah, I used to.
Okay.
So I haven't worked with him in a while. So
Okay.
when we closed down and we went into COVID and everything else, I really picked up on mediumship.
Hmm.
So I went into mediumship, houses. I would clear houses a lot.
Hmm. Hmm.
I always say that's my hobby,
Right, right, right.
but it all goes together. Like if you want to
Hmm.
give me a date and say, Amber, what do you want to do for fun? I want to go cleanse a house. That's what I want to do.
Right. Right. So nowadays, I know you were doing some events for a while. Are you thinking about doing events again?
I am
Yeah.
actually. I'm really
Okay.
trying to work out one in Gettysburg because I think it would be fun to do a kind of like a haunted night doing paranormal and then the
Mhm.
next day doing a group reading
Okay.
because
Okay.
I find that to be interesting. And I'm
Hmm.
also going to be booking another room to do a large event. So we usually do like
Hmm.
60 to 70 people.
Hmm.
Love
Hmm.
that.
You've been doing this since 2012, and especially with the mediumship work. How have you found, in terms of people getting used to this kind of talk, just mediumship and talking to people on the other side, to me, it seems like people are getting used to this. This is not like crazy talk anymore.
Oh, it's not crazy.
Yeah.
I think people really need that connection and they want to know their loved ones are still close, that they know the things that they're going through in life, that maybe they have missing messages. Like today I did a mediumship reading and the father stepped forward and he apologized. It was the first thing I heard.
Hmm.
And the woman just broke down in tears and she's like, I really needed that.
Hmm.
It's something that is it's continuing your healing. It's not over just because the person leaves,
Right.
which reminds me, my favorite thing to do, Charles, is to sit in hospice with people.
Ah.
So I
Hmm.
will go in and sit while people are crossing over,
Yes.
transitioning,
Yes.
because I get to see who's coming to get their soul.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm helping the person who's transitioning, I'm talking to the living.
Right.
I just want to let you know your aunt, uncle, Bob, Joe, whoever's here.
Hmm.
And it also eases the person who's transitioned, and it also eases the person who is part of the family leaving. The family's leaving the world.
Yes, that is very important. I witnessed that myself with a aunt who was transitioning, and she started to see people, and it scared her. It would
Yes.
have been nice to have someone next to her to help comfort her and guide her through that transition, so she wouldn't have been so scared. So yeah, that's a great. I mean, that's basically like I call it a transition doula.
Yeah.
Some people say
End of
death
life.
doula. I don't like using the word death. I call it a
End of life.
yeah, your transition doula. You're helping just like people help doulas help infants into the world. You're helping people exit and transition. I think that's a noble thing to do. Honestly, I think people really need that. I've seen it. Um, so, uh, I most of my family has come to you
Yeah. I love your family, by the way.
for Reiki and even mediumship. My mother, my grandmother, my sisters, they all come to you over the years. Um, and I was just so thankful to meet you, Amber. I was in an interesting place in my life. I was basically, right at the end of a relationship, a marriage. It was a separation, 17 years, and so I was kind of focusing on me. Doing more self love things like massages and stuff like that, and then I added Reiki to the mix, right? And I hadn't done it yet, but I was looking into crystals. And I had a crystal book, and it's probably on this shelf somewhere behind me. I was looking at that crystal book, and it was talking about charging your palm chakras. And I was like, well, I didn't know we had a palm chakra. So I went on to YouTube and I started Googling how to charge your palm chakras. And I came across your video. I came across a few people, but you were the only one that offered like 5 different ways to do it. And you were like, take your pick. Right. And I really appreciated that because it was one in particular that kind of spoke to me. And the whole time I'm watching your video, I'm like, I feel like I know her from somewhere. And I'm like, I know it couldn't have been school because I know I'm older than her. I can tell I'm older than you. So I'm like, where is it? I know this woman. And I'm like, she's probably in Sedona or somewhere like
I remember you saying that.
that.
Yeah.
And this is Columbus Day, 2017. I'll never forget it. And and I look you up, and you're like right in Harford County, and I was in Baltimore County at the time. I'm like, it's like 40 minutes away. I couldn't believe you were that close. And so I booked an appointment for that day because I was off, for the holiday, and I successfully booked it. And then you called me back, and you were like, "I'm so sorry it allowed you to book. I'm actually closed today." And we ended up talking for like an hour and a half on the phone. Never met you, saw you a day in my life.
I remember that too. I was
Yeah.
literally walking out of my office and I was like, oh, got to go home because kids are off everything else, right? So I go to leave and when my phone rang, I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And then you and I just gibby gabbed for an hour and a half, right? But it
Yeah.
felt like I knew you. It was
Right.
so easy.
Yes.
Yes.
And I started coming to you ever since. And you helped me with so many things. There's so many things I talk about in this podcast that are directly related to you. When I was talking about how your diseases show up in your energy field first, you know, I learned that from you
Yeah.
because you kept asking me one time, what's going on with my right knee? And I was telling you nothing's wrong, and then nothing was wrong. And you told me that for 2 months, because I came to you once a month. The third month, I had a brace on my knee, on my right knee. You saw that 2 months before it actually trickled down to the physical.
Yeah.
You saw the tear in my aura right there above my right knee. Um, even what I do with Chromosomatics Wellness, you kept telling me, and I know you don't remember a lot of the stuff, because you're kind of channeling, but you kept asking me like, when are you going to open up your wellness center? And this isn't like 2015.
You're like,
And not 2015, it's like 2018. I know nothing about the egg yet.
yeah.
This is not even on my mind. I'm working for IBM at that time. I'm not even thinking about opening up a wellness center. And you kept asking me, when are you going? I see you at the wellness center. And lo and behold, 2022, I opened up a wellness center.
Amazing.
So I can't talk about what I do without talking about you. It's just you saw so many things before I could see it. And that's just the beautiful gift you have, and you're sharing it with so many people. Especially every time I see something online, it's you in a group. You're in somebody's living room with like 9 people, right?
I swear I must have been like an energy healer or like a psychic that went to people's houses or something back in the day or past life because that just seems so normal for me.
I think it's great because people they're with their family members and friends. They feel comfortable. Everybody's in on it. It's not like they're by themselves and they feel weird. Everybody's there. Everybody's participating.
And we all feel like we're family together. No matter if it's, the girls invite friends and friends, by the end, you feel so close and connected to people because we all understand grief. We all understand
Mhm,
happy times, and you share
mhm,
that sort of like energy together.
mhm.
And I love just to go in, channel messages. Really, my messages are your loved ones are still with you. I'll validate that they are still here. They love you and they know what's going on in your life,
Mhm.
right? Because that's really, if they're sorry, have an apology. But it's not like, they don't bring up all the bad stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right.
did she take that? Did they, like, they don't care. But like today, there's a little joke, right? Tell me what happened to those pearl earrings. And she was like, oh no, right? But I said, she doesn't care. She's just letting you know that she knows about it.
Right, right.
So I just find it so beautiful to be able to hold space and meet so many people, to have that togetherness with them. And then I leave, like, okay, I'm done my job. Thank you, Spirit. And they'll
Mhm,
call me up months later saying, thank you so much for that message.
mhm, mhm. And I see your photos that you take after the sessions. It looks like a family photo. It's
Yeah.
like you and all these people, and you look like one big family
Wow.
after every photo. It's crazy. You can see how that session joins all of you, including you. You look like part of the family in the photo. You know,
Blend right in.
yeah, yeah, you really do. You really do. So I'm so happy to have you on here, Amber. What do you have coming up? I want to give you a chance to kind of plug some of the things you got going on and how people can actually reach you.
Sure. So I always do mediumship. So if
Mhm,
there is an online mediumship, right? meaning if people online want to have a group, we can do it online too.
Okay.
Also do it in person because not everybody's in Hartford County.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if you want to do it online, you can book your friends and family. But I also do, it's called Clear Your BS. It's a
Hmm.
series.
Okay.
And it's kind of like everything that stops you from having the life that you really desire, which is your BS, your belief systems of saying
Hmm.
that you can't have it.
Hmm.
And the first, we go through trauma, we go through weight loss, we go through childhoods, we go through all of the stuff to clear it out. And March, we're doing weight loss. So
Okay.
that's our next one.
Is that done online?
It's done online. It's
Okay.
4 weeks. You have recipes and everything, but it's kind of like, why do we hold on to the weight? What are we
Hmm.
doing? How do we
Right.
clear up the beliefs that we have on ourselves?
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And how can people get to that?
On my website, it's at thechakradeva.com.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And they can contact you there as well?
Yes, they can. Yep.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Email, anything, Facebook, Instagram. Don't go follow me on the TikTok. I have tons of followers on TikTok, but I don't know what I'm doing. Don't do it.
Okay. Okay. Well, Amber, it's a pleasure to have you on. It's a pleasure to see you and chat with you. Hopefully, we'll have you back on again as things progress with you. I know you're always coming up with something new, breaking through a new barrier in your talents. I'm sure you have more. Like I always say, you are unstoppable. No one can stop you but you. Do not dim your light for anyone and love yourself.
Mm.